All right, well, I made it into the next round of the tournament, and the challenge for this time is to build a vignette between 10 and 16 studs. I was given the category of dwarves, so everyone had to build something from one of the free peoples of Middle-earth, and I was assigned the dwarves. I'm trying to figure out what a good scene would be. I had a few different ideas. I was thinking like Durin's home from the Rings of Power, where he and his wife have like dinner with Elrond. I was also just thinking like a Dwarven forge, but I don't know, those are just some ideas that I was playing with, and I already just now started working on the base. So this is gonna be 16 by 16 studs, and that's just gonna help me know that I can't go any bigger than this. So if anything sticks out or whatever, no good. So I'm kind of using this as my guideline. I've been playing around with a bunch of ideas, and I came up with this pillar design that I like. I wanted to have two, but I don't think I have the pieces to do two of these, just because I don't have quite enough of some of these pieces down here. And then just working on a little portion here. I think I'm gonna try to have at least a couple levels to this thing. So this would be probably the top level, and these are meant to be the holes where the sunlight comes in through the mountain. And then just some shapes and colors and woven details. I was gonna have a little pedestal here, maybe for some fire, or maybe to display a helmet or a relic or something like that. And then I'll also probably put something there. But that is what I have so far. The base is all done, and I made it just this black, solid, smooth base with this kind of rounded corner there, because I plan to kind of display it as a corner piece. So that is where I'm at for now. Still trying to figure out all the details and what everything is going to be, but I'm happy with the progress that's being made. Here's what the thing is looking like now. I have done a lot of work, and I really just kind of started building and putting stuff together because I did not really have a plan for what I was doing. So this is just kind of what has come together so far. Originally I was going to have multiple levels, but I think I'm just going to have this one main room. And really the last thing I need to do is figure out how I'm going to top this. But I'm really happy with how this has turned out, with all this gold kind of running through the rockwork down here. And it kind of looks like this is kind of exposed to some like natural cave, but half the room is finished and this lower part is still unfinished. So I just think it looks nice. And then of course having some gold on this pillar and some gold down here, kind of showing that they like their riches. And then having that little stair back here, just really subtle. And then a rack for pickaxes and some relics from maybe some ancestors, since they hold their family in high regard. And then just a candle here melting. But I'm really happy with how this has turned out. I think the coloring of it looks really satisfying, very aesthetic with the sand green. And I just really need to go now and finish up some of these last little details, and then we can call this thing good. At this point, we pretty much just need to finish off the top of this thing, and this sloped section, this light gray section, is definitely going to be one of the more difficult parts of it, just because I got to figure out how to seal all the gaps and make it flush, which is always a lot more tricky than you think it will be when you set out to do it. But I'm always up for a good challenge here. This section did just take a lot of trial and error. You can see all the different colors and bricks that I'm stacking up, just trying to get everything fitting right, and so there's no awkward gaps in the whole thing. Now you can see I'm going to start working on the back sand green wall, just finishing that off, and then I'm actually raising the height of the pillar to make it fill the top of it as well. I just finished sealing off the top of it, and that was actually pretty difficult, trying to figure out how I was going to get these shapes to match up together. So I'm happy with how it turned out. It took a lot of brackets, and then just working with these hinge bricks is kind of difficult. So I'm pleased with how this turned out. It's pretty smooth here, so I think that looks pretty good. This area is maybe a little bit plain, so I'm gonna try to see what I can do with that area. But the top of the pillar is all done now, and a lot of these details down here are good. So the bottom half looks pretty well detailed. The top half is a little bit simple just from looking at it. So I'm gonna see, especially in this area, if there's something that I can put there. But besides that, this thing is pretty much done. So let's go and just see what last little details I can throw in here. Here's the finished product that I came up with. I decided to use Nori, the character here, and kind of have this be his living quarters. So he's returning home from the mines or an adventure or something, and we just have all of these different details and relics and things like this picture back there is a Harry Potter, I believe Harry Potter printed tile. So it kind of looks like a dwarf, so I thought that was pretty fitting. It's like a portrait of an ancestor. We have this dwarf helmet, some detailing up there on the wall. Honestly, that was just because it was kind of plain, so I just wanted to fill that space a little bit better. It's kind of dark back there, but I think you can kind of see what's going on. And then these holes in the ceiling are meant to be where the sunlight can shine in. That's how they light the Dwarven cities, with these tunnels, these shafts dug into the ceilings. So that's what that is meant to demonstrate. And then down here we have this nice pillar on the side, which I'm really happy with the design of. Have a little axe there just kind of resting. And then this little table with a candle that is melting on top. And then in the back there, I put a little rack for all the pickaxes and tools. There's a helmet just laying around and lots of tools and clutter and maps and all sorts of different details that I just have kind of crammed into this thing. And everything here is attached, even though like it's upside down. I was able to attach it with some clips here. And then same with this section. So we have lots of different like inverted and all sorts of different angles with these different sections. And I can take off this pillar pretty easily, and you can kind of see its design here. I'm using some of these like hinge plates to add a little bit of texture to the bottom there. And I think that actually looks pretty good. You can't really see a lot of this detail of this pillar when it's in there with all of the other details and minifigures and tables and stuff around it, but I think it looks pretty good. And then this rack back here, it was just clipped in right there with that clip, but it is a really simple build, just using a couple of these round plates with these bars sticking out and kind of connecting them there in the middle. You can kind of see just using one of those bars with some studs with the holes. This was a lot of fun to put together. I've never done any vignette like this or this size before. This is a 14 by 14 size vignette, and I'm sure I'm going to be doing more stuff like this in the future because this was really fun to put together. Just a lot of detail in a small space is a lot of fun to try to figure out. And it's really nice when I'm given prompts to do because I'm forced to be creative and get outside my comfort zone, and you get stuff that you just don't normally see and you challenge yourself. So I actually am really enjoying that aspect of this tournament because yeah, like I said, just lots of stuff that I've never built before, and it's really challenging me in some really fun ways. Even figuring out this base down here, it's pretty simple, but it was fun just figuring out how to get this to be a curved corner, and then all this rock work kind of filling with that gold in there was a fun little challenge in and of itself. Honestly, this is something I might just keep built and take to conventions to display, since it's just a really satisfying size and display piece in itself, and I think the colors are really satisfying and aesthetic. But that is gonna do it for this MOC video. Make sure you check out all of the other MOC videos, especially the ones from my tournament builds, as they are all Lord of the Rings and have been really fun challenges and unique builds. But that's gonna do it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you sticking around this long and this far into the video. Subscribe if you aren't already to keep getting more updates on all my future MOCs. Here's some videos in the meantime. I'll see you in the next one.